Prince Charles arrives for traditional Sunday church service at Balmoral without the Queen, 96, as she remains at home amid ongoing fears for her health. Prince Charles cut a lonely figure this morning as he was spotted at a traditional Sunday church service at Balmoral without the Queen as she remained at home. Her Majesty, who has been staying in the Scottish Highlands on her summer break since July, was not among the congregation at the weekly service at Crathy Kirk today. The monarch, who has been a regular attendee at the small church while staying at the royal estate in previous year, has not been seen in public since travelling up to her summer retreat in July. In recent weeks, various members of the royal family have been seen making the short journey to the small church while staying at the royal estate. These include Prince Edward, Lady Louise Windsor and Vice Admiral Sir Time Lawrence, with Prince Charles spotted at today's service on his own. However, the monarch, who has been a regular attendee in the past, has not been pictured attending any services at the venue since travelling up for her summer retreat in July. In recent months, the 96-year-old has cancelled a number of appointments due to concerns over her mobility and health. This includes swearing in the new Prime Minister the Scottish Castle this week in a break with tradition after deciding not to travel back down to London for the ceremony. And the next day, a virtual meeting of the Privy Council is expected to take place over a video call. The new setting for the Kissing of the Hands meeting was decided to save the 96-year-old monarch from having to make the 1,000-mile round trip to Buckingham Palace. While the Queen has been resting, Charles, who is known in Scotland as the Duke of Rothesay, represented his mother at the Highland Games. At the Braemar gathering on Friday, the Prince of Wales used a pair of garden shears to cut a heather rope and unveil a new £80,000 archway to commemorate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee year. Charles and Camilla joined in a round of applause as host Robert Lovey said, "We miss her presence." Peter Fraser, president of the Braemar Royal Highland Society, said, "We were sad but understood that the Queen couldn't come as she has been a worthy patron all these 70 years. Her Majesty's absence comes as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex return to the UK amid a fresh furore over jibes about the royal family. Tensions were raised further last week after an interview which saw Meghan suggest the Sussexes had been forced to move across the Atlantic because by existing, we were upsetting the dynamic of the hierarchy. Speaking to U.S. magazine The Cut, she also claimed her husband had lost his father, with sources close to the couple saying this wasn't a reference to Prince Charles, but her estrangement with her own father. Royal insiders have branded the interview, which also saw Meghan compare herself to Nelson Mandela, as delusional and have expressed concerns about the impact of their comments on the Queen. One said that the Queen does not want to be on tenterhooks and constantly waiting for the next nuclear bomb. A friend of Charles said he was hurt by the continued painful comments from the pair. Sources say the 73-year-old loves and misses Harry, Meghan and his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet, and feels particularly hurt after spending time with them during the Platinum Jubilee in June. Charles is thought to have seen their time together as a minor act of reparation after the Sussexes' bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, which saw Harry say he felt really let down by his father. Coinciding with the launch of her new Spotify podcast, the Duchess of Sussex claimed she had been compared to South African hero Nelson Mandela and claimed Harry had lost his father Charles during Megxit. In her wide-ranging interview with The Cut, running to more than 6,000 words, Meghan said that just by existing she and Harry were upsetting the dynamic of the hierarchy before they stepped down as senior working royals. She said it takes a lot of effort to forgive and hinted that she can say anything after not signing any confidentiality agreements with the royals. Sources in royal circles have since hit back at the couple, branding their tirades against life as working royals delusional and tragic, and sensationally suggesting that they rail against the system as much as they still do even after Megxit to sustain public and therefore commercial interest in their brand. The couple's actions also seemingly contradict the public statement they released in January 2020, after reaching a deal with the Queen to leave the royal life, in which they pledged that everything they do will continue to uphold the values of Her Majesty. At the so-called Sandringham summit, Harry gave up his military appointments and their public funding was halted, allowing them go to the United States where they have signed multi-million-pound deals with the likes of Spotify and Netflix. Regardless, the Queen has repeatedly said the Sussexes remain much loved by the royal family. But one source told the Sunday Times, it is hard to see how what they're doing would equate to the values of the Queen, who has never encouraged people to discuss deeply personal family relationships in public. Her communication staff declined to comment when Mail Online asked about the remarks of the palace insiders. A spokesperson for the Sussexes did not immediately respond to an enquiry.